What? This pathetic meal for Thanksgiving? How poor are we supposed to be? My eldest son's wife, back home for the holidays, complained about the meal I prepared, sounding like a teenager in full rebellion mode. I thought she depended on me like a real parent. To be treated this badly. I'm at my wit's end. My name is Susan. I'm 62 years old. My only son, Michael, is independent now, and I live peacefully with my husband, David. Lately, I've been going to the community center to learn dressmaking as a hobby. I look forward to lunches and cafe visits with the friends I've made there, and today I'm heading there again. I'm going fishing with some friends. If we finish around the same time, I'll come by to pick you up, so give me a call. David says to me as I get ready to leave. I can get home by myself. You just enjoy your fishing. It would be terrible if something happened. I'll come pick you up, so make sure to call. David can be a bit overprotective, but he's really good to me. He always insists on driving me, even for trips I can handle alone. No matter what happens, I know David will always be there for me with his unwavering love. Feeling reassured, I continued enjoying my peaceful days, immersed in my hobby. Then one day, I received a message from Michael. I'm getting married to my girlfriend. Can I introduce her to you this Saturday? Michael, 30 years old, works in sales at a major telecom company. He's been too busy with work to come home except for Christmas, and we've hardly been in touch. Surprised by his sudden announcement, I hastily consulted with David. Wow. He's finally getting married. I was starting to worry that he didn't have a girlfriend at 30. We'd definitely like to meet her. David was purely happy about our son's marriage, but I was a bit worried. Michael, like his father, has a friendly and calm demeanor. But his excessive tolerance can be a flaw. Even as a young boy, he wouldn't fuss if a friend didn't return his last pencil. Because of that, we were always running out of pencils and erasers. He's too easygoing. I just hope he can communicate his needs clearly to her. With these concerns in mind, I prepared for the day of the meeting. The girlfriend Michael brought home was very tall, almost like a model, and was strikingly beautiful and elegant. This is Emily. She gave a smile as Michael introduced her. Her poise was so actress-like, I couldn't help but be mesmerized. I'm Susan, Michael's mother. Please, come in. I greeted her, but for some reason, she didn't react. Emily, you're so tall and beautiful. How did you two meet? At a mixer a colleague set up. She's a waitress at a restaurant. I've dropped by a few times while she was working. And she always looks so beautiful and cute when she's trying her hardest. You're really smitten with her, aren't you? Reminds me of when I was head over heels for your mom. The initial meeting turned lively with just the three of us. She seemed either nervous or cautious, not joining in our conversation. I tried to engage her. What do you like about my son? Just everything, she replied briefly. Which would you like? Coffee or tea? I'd prefer juice, she answered. Her way of speaking was almost childlike. After she left, I asked Michael, is she always like that? Not very talkative, or shy, or standoffish. Yeah, she's always like that. I don't mean to speak ill, but her not greeting and not using polite language kind of bothered me. Michael responded, actually, Emily was born when her parents were still in high school. They married right after graduation. But they fought constantly and ended up divorcing. I want to support her, having grown up in such difficult circumstances, he said passionately. So, there's a backstory. Well, you'll have to make her happy now. Give it your all. I decided to warmly support the start of Michael and Emily's life together. However, once they were married, for some reason, Emily began calling my cell phone frequently. I'm out shopping, but I'm feeling a bit faint. Can you come pick me up? Are you okay? Where are you? I'm at the supermarket near the station. I'm sitting on a bench. I'll be waiting for you. She started asking for various things in a way that was even worse than how a real daughter would speak to her mother. At first, I was happy to be relied upon like a real mother, but it became annoying when she would call for trivial matters. The drinks I bought at the supermarket are too heavy. Can you help me carry them? I accidentally booked the wrong beauty salon. Can you drive me to the next town? I can't ride my bike home in this heavy rain. Please come get me. These calls came incessantly. When I was at the community center, I asked David to help, but sometimes he couldn't, as he occasionally works as a security guard. Sorry. Can you use a taxi today? If you pay for the taxi, then I'll do that. I was definitely being treated like a handyman. Due to her poor upbringing, it seemed like Emily's personality was quite warped. Why did Michael marry such a woman? How long will this situation continue? With these doubts and concerns, there was an opportunity when Michael came back home alone. I asked him directly. Why is Emily so selfish? She's certainly beautiful, but isn't it difficult living with her with that attitude? In response to my question, Michael hung his head slightly and began, actually. As he started to explain how they ended up getting married. He fell head over heels for her beauty and asked her out, but it wasn't straightforward. She demanded that he do everything she says as a condition for their relationship, and he accepted all of it. So, that's why she's so spoiled. I regretted raising my son to be too timid and tolerant. After a while of no contact, my son called me saying, "We're coming back for Thanksgiving," so I prepared dinner to welcome them. But upon seeing the meal I prepared, Emily said, "What? Fried chicken and a pumpkin pie? It's not a kid's picnic. Serve something like roast turkey. How poor can you get with such a lousy meal?" She berated me with the manner of a rude delinquent. I'm sorry. I should have told Mom your favorite dishes. Michael apologized profusely. Being manipulated and walked all over by her, there's a limit to being nice. Taking Michael's subservient attitude for granted, she went on, "Oh, I don't like mashed potatoes. I prefer roast turkey with French fries or mac and cheese. Hurry up and order some." Just as I was about to raise my voice, David stood up, trembling with anger, and said, "This is the last time we'll see each other. Think of this as your last supper. Eat whatever you want, even roast turkey with French fries." I had never seen my usually gentle husband explode in anger like this. Michael and Emily were stunned by his roar. What do you mean by a last? Just what I said. Susan thought about this menu for a long time, prepared your favorite fried chicken and pumpkin pie. And even made lasagna and cake. And yet, you insult the meal and call us poor. We're done with you too. David had reached his breaking point. He seemed determined to cut ties with them. What? If there's lasagna and cake, bring it out first. It's your fault for hiding it. Don't get mad at me. Fearlessly, Emily snapped back at him. If David had reached his limit, I was ready to confront this nightmare of a daughter-in-law without holding back. Sorry we didn't have your favorites ready. Anything else you'd like? Like I said before. Roast turkey. The ones with French fries or mac and cheese. And also ahijo and aqua pazza. Unfazed by David's anger, she continued to place her orders. We're out of olive oil for the ahijo. But we do have sea bream and clams, and all the ingredients for aqua pazza. So? I'll leave the rest to you. I quickly took out the ingredients from the fridge and handed her the pot. Wait, you want me to do it? She stood there, holding the pot, frozen. Since my cooking doesn't seem to suit your taste, I'd like to see your skills as a homemaker. I decided to hand over the entire cooking task to her. That's a great idea. Since you called Susan's cooking lousy and called us poor, your cooking must be incredibly delicious. David provided backup support. No. I'm a guest, right? I faced Emily, who was trying to dodge the responsibility, and firmly said, "No excuses, just do it." She trembled and placed the pot on the stove with a terrified look. Don't let it burn dry. The pot will get scorched. First, you need to purge the sand of the clams and remove the stems from the cherry tomatoes. She resignedly started tapping the clams with a fork, seemingly accepting my strict stance. Purging out the sand doesn't mean hitting them with a fork. Aren't you supposed to soak them in salt water? Michael watched Emily's cooking with a stunned expression. I don't know that. Making a guest do all this, you really are a terrible mother-in-law. Cornered and lashing out, she threw the fork, and then a hearty laugh came from behind. After all your criticism about the meal, you can't even prepare clams properly? And not a single thank you, you completely lack basic human manners. The source of the voice was my big sister, Rachel, who had come over for the holiday. I had been a cooking instructor at the cultural center until a few years ago, and Rachel was still a manners instructor. I was in the next room until a moment ago, but your attitude and character are really awful. I have a lot to say, but first. What about that outfit? Are you here to play? This outfit? It's trendy French leggings. You think that's fashionable? Dressing appropriately for the occasion is basic. I can't believe you came to your husband's family home dressed like pajamas. Rachel, without any hesitation, scolded her for her complete lack of common sense. Such a mess in attitude, speech, and dress, you folks have been very patient with this daughter-in-law. I can't be bothered to worry about such a failure. I've just resigned myself to it. Encouraged by Rachel, I threw in some harsh words I usually wouldn't use. Then, Michael and Emily started a fierce argument. The reason that this happened is because you criticized Mom's cooking. What? If you have a problem, say it to these terrible women. The problem is your attitude. Show some manners, will you? They went back and forth, arguing. David put an end to it. If you want to fight, do it elsewhere. If you have something to say, think it over and come back another day. I'll listen only once. He glared at them with a fierceness I had never seen before. Overwhelmed by his intensity, they hastily left. A few days later, they came to our house, looking solemn and begging for forgiveness. Please, no disowning or cutting ties. The issue isn't just her behavior, but you allowing it. I'm utterly dismayed seeing you so smitten and extending your nose at such a nonsensical wife. David glared at my son, still furious from the other day. I've decided. If it means being disowned by you guys, I'll divorce her. My son's shocking declaration was unexpected. Emily looked astonished. What? You said you'd protect me. I thought so, too. But I'm convinced now that what Mom and Aunt Rachel said was right. Your lack of common sense, your dress, your speech. Your character, it's all too much. What? You're making me out to be the bad guy? I'm not important to you. I'm just tired of all this with you. Michael continued in a faint voice. Calling me over and over on my cell phone saying, I'm tired from shopping, come pick me up, I don't have enough money, bring me some. When I turned off my phone, you even called me at work. And when I said I couldn't, you'd get angry, saying, don't you care about me? Didn't you say you'd do anything I ask? Then, accusing him of cheating, she finally pushed him beyond his limits. Don't just give out my phone number to her without considering how we've been put up with her whims. That's right. It's really a nuisance. Handle your own wife by yourself. David coldly declared, and we ultimately decided to cut ties with Michael and Emily. After we severed ties with them, Rachel frequently visited their house. Rachel said she was just having tea at their place, but she was actually giving Emily some strict lessons in manners, her area of expertise. Then, Emily came to my house to apologize, looking like a different person, worn out. I'm sorry. I said terrible things before. She presented an envelope containing the taxi fares I had paid and some cash as a sign of apology. No matter how much you apologize, I will not forgive you. I coldly rejected her, and she slumped dejectedly. Michael and Emily were continuing to live separately at home, and it seemed that divorce proceedings would start soon. However, Emily had lost contact with her biological mother and had nowhere to live and no money as she was pushed into a corner. By the time she realized how much trouble her actions had caused others, it was too late. The stormy days with Michael and Emily passed, and David and I returned to our peaceful life, enjoying our hobbies. I had hoped that Michael would find a new wife soon, and surprisingly, he actively started looking for a partner, quickly finding a suitable match. His new partner was a woman versed in arts like painting, flower arrangement, and sewing, possessing a refined demeanor. She really liked Michael's slightly shy, tolerant, and kind nature. Though I had once regretted his personality, I now feel our parenting was right. I'm off to my cultural class. Alright, I'm off to go fishing. It seems like David is going to pick me up by car, on our way back from our respective hobbies. It seems that Michael indeed inherited his father's kind nature.